Okay, so I'm going to show you something. On my website here, right? When people go to apply, this integrates a Typeform, and I don't know why it's not coming up right now. Maybe because I'm in development mode. But anyway, this is a Typeform questionnaire that I'm currently paying $60 a month for, just for these 8 questions. And not even the 8 questions, it's free. It's actually at the end of the Typeform. I want to redirect people to my calendar so they can pop on my calendar. Well, that ability to have the redirect automatically, I have to have a certain level of an account, and that's $60 a month. So I'm kind of like, that's so crazy to have to pay for that. So I'm like, let me just vibe code this into my existing thing so I don't have to have this using Typeform. I can use my own. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to open up the agent. They just changed things here in Replit. This used to be on the right. I don't know how to change it right now. Get it back over there. But basically, it changed a little bit. But I'm going to go here into agent mode, and they have this. They have the light. They had this before, but it was just a little bit different formatted. But now you've got light, autonomous. But because I'm doing kind of a big change, I'm really wanted to think and design and build. I'm going to do autonomous and okay. So this is light, cost optimized building or power. Recommended high power building. I'm going to do that just to see how much it costs to do that. See, I'm imagining this is going to cost somewhere between $5 to $15. That's what my guess would be, something like that, right? So I'm going to give it that just to see what it does. So I've already written out my prompt, so I'm going to paste that in here, right? But basically what it says is I have an application, my website, my mentorship. This website's integrating Typeform, and that I embed, blah, blah, blah. And then I'm going to attach 8 questions. I took images. I went through my form and I just create screenshots of the 8 images. And I said, notice that question 5, should I say 5, has 2 images because one, there's another option, okay, which is freeform. I want you to create a new module in this project to take over what Typeform does, create the pages workflow to ask these 8 questions one at a time, just like Typeform does. Try to keep the design as close as possible. When the user clicks submit, do the following: save all the answers into the database table. I already have a database on this. And as you can see, I'm using Supabase. So suggest the DDL, data definition language, to create this table. So it'll give me that file. It'll give me that data, and I'll just copy and paste that into Supabase and create the table. RLS is row level security. That's a security thing for the database. And then option 2, I want you to send me an email, notify me that there's a new application and the answers to the questionnaire. So that's it for now. I'm going to see if I can paste in my images here. Or copy in. Let's see if I copy them in here. All right, did it get them all? Okay, I just wanted to show you. See, when I said typeform.com, it actually was trying to go to that website and it was asking me this question, hey, what do you want to do? Let me just show you that again. So when I put in the .com, it recognizes it's a domain name and it says, hey, do you want to just take a screenshot of that website? Do you want to get the text content from that website, or do you want to extract the branding? I don't want to do any of those things. I was just referencing it. So I'm just going to take the .com off so it goes away. And then now you can see my questions down here. All the images I just pasted in. So they should all be there. So here we go. I'm going to go ahead and let this run. And it's probably going to run a while. So I'll pause the video and let you guys see what happened. Okay, so it says it worked for 4 minutes, or 6 minutes ago. It says it took $1.57 for now, by the way. That's for now. Your price can go up on here. That's why I have another video out there on how you can use GitHub Copilot and bring this out and with GitHub, do work on it there and then bring it back into Replit. That's pretty much how I use it normally. I just had some credits left this month, so I thought I'd use them and do this example for you. So it said it did it. Let me go back home, refresh. Let's see if it actually, maybe it didn't apply. I forgot to tell it to hook it up to the apply button. The problem with this, by the way, maybe it's good that I didn't do that yet, is because it messes up my current website. So what I'm going to do is this. So I'm just telling it I need a way to test this. You can put it around. Now, this doesn't require a lot of that power. So I'm just going to go back to economy on this one. And you don't want to forget to change that, all your cost will be up. All the $1.57 is not bad for that. One thing I did, I'll let that crank away, but I don't know. Okay, show more. Did it give me my DDL? The application is ready. Does the questionnaire look and feel right on the apply page? Okay, no, it doesn't because it's still the old one. I'll keep the current apply page unchanged, still using Typeform, and put the new and apply new. Okay, fine. So it wasn't really smart enough to automatically do that, which actually I'm glad because it would have screwed up my apply page. So let's wait. Okay, so I need to wait. So blah, blah, blah. It's going to do that. Okay, change the route, whatever. Okay, so the server's running fine. The 404 was just automated screenshot. Okay. The route is properly there. Apply new. Okay, so it's going to tell me to go ahead and go into Supabase and do this. I can show you that in a second. To do that. What's interesting is that it didn't give me this before, right? It didn't tell me this before when I had it do the big one. It should have done that. So anyway, this back and forth, by the way, with Replit is what takes up your money, right? So it took 91 cents, right? So not a lot, but it adds up. Trust me, if you're sitting there vibe coding all day, it'll crank out $50, $100, $200, $300 quick. Okay, so let's refresh this. Let me see if I can go to apply new, I think is what I called it. And I'm getting 404 not found. So this is what you kind of get. So what I usually do is you can go in here and copy this message and say getting like that and see what it says. Sometimes it could just be a matter of stopping and starting the server. Okay, so now it's working at apply new. So just what that was, and I don't get why Replit doesn't do this automatically and know that I'm adding a new route. But what it's saying basically is that my node environment is set to production. Just so you know, apps that Replit builds usually by default, React apps, which are Next.js, which is all at the base of it, node, right? And so you need to run npm, which is a node package manager. You need to either run build or run dev or whatever. So this actually kind of recompiles everything. And that's what it needed to do in order to then see the page. So anyway, it took another 2 minutes and another $1.11, right? So now we're up to whatever that adds up to, right? I'm not adding it right now. So a few bucks. But anyway, so there we go, ready to apply. It looks like my other page, even it's got the question 1 of 8. Did it actually do that? No, maybe I need to put that in. Did pretty good. It looks just like things. So what is your first name? Mike. Okay, let's go with Mike. What is your last name? Let's just go with Smith. It's not Smith. What's your email? Mike Smith at realvibe.ai. That's not valid, by the way. By the way, what happens if I does it have, see, it even smart enough to know that's not an email address. That's good. Okay. Okay, so look at that. It allowed me not to put a phone number in, so I'm going to need to tell it that phone number is required. I need to tell that all the fields are required. I'm going to go ahead and put a number here. And I also want to put some more validation here because it's letting me do that. Where in Typeform, it actually won't even let you put in certain numbers. Like if you put in a number like 555, 5555, it'll say, hey, this doesn't look right. So that's a lot more logic that I don't need to necessarily deal with right now, but I do want it required. So I can pick mobile app or web app. Let's see if I go other. Yeah, see it working just like Typeform. So if I have an other answer, but notice when I did that, once I clicked it, see Typeform I have it clicked again. There's no way to click it off. Type your other answer, me, whatever, it doesn't matter. A, B, C. It's interesting that it's not showing that. So I'm gonna Mike other. Good Lord. All right. How come there's a check mark there? Interesting. So I'm gonna need some tweaking there. 5. Number 6. Okay, well, this one's making it required. Now it's got a big box here because I actually hit some inches in there, so whatever. Entered it that. Okay, so it's got that. It's got my whole thing. All right. Okay. How much do you want to invest? Okay. Submit. Okay, of course, it couldn't find the table because I haven't done that part yet. So a little bit, that's pretty close in just minutes and $5, right? So let me do that. Let me create the table. By the way, I'm going to show you that I went back up to go get the DDL from Supabase, And I was like, where the heck is it? So I went to my last question. I'm like, well, it was before this. So like, where is it? And then so it's kind of hidden in these where it gets collapsed. So it says 7 messages and 9 actions. So you just gotta find it from where you know it's between here and here, and then expand those, and then you can see all the messages in there. And this is where it is. So I'm gonna copy this stuff out. This is a create table. So I'm just click copy there. And I'm gonna go over to my Supabase here, and I went into, this is a whole other lesson about Supabase. We won't get into it now, but there's the table editor and the SQL. You want the SQL editor, and you can see other things you do in there. So let's see, it's going to create a table, real applications. Okay, it's the first name. I'm just looking at this just to see if it's valid for me, like things I like. I'm just going to accept it. It's going to enable row level security, and it's going to say that, yeah, people can insert and select it. Okay, so we're just going to go ahead and run that. And it said it was success. So let's go ahead and go back and take a look at what else. I think that was it. Oh, so I need to, for the email notifications, I need to set these up in my settings. SMTP. Okay, so I need an SMTP host and all that kind of stuff, which you can get that. That's a whole nother thing, but I could go into it now if you guys want to see that. But I might just save that for another video. Because there's that's a whole nother several minute video at least. So let's try. Actually, I just created that table. So when we go over to that, back to here, and I got a table editor, go to real applications, and you can see there's no data in there right now. So let's go back, and I'm going to see if I can just submit again. It'll probably, let's see, real applications, submit. Okay, thank you. Your application has been submitted. We'll review and get back to you soon. So what I wanted to do next is I wanted to auto redirect to the calendar page, which I can add that in as well, but it's kind of replicated that. So let's just go see if there's data in that table. And there it is. So it creates an automatic ID. This is a GUID, or universally unique identifier, also called a GUID, which is a GUID, globally unique identifier. You can click over here and you can see. So there you go. There's data, Mike Smith. App types, it created a comma delimited list here, like a little array. There's my texts. Again, with those, okay, so it's creating those as like this little array. So that's cool. Investment, okay, created at just the time somebody did it, and optional fields. Phone, should not be optional. I have to change that. And it get the IP address of where it came from. So that's cool. Okay, so I'm going to say, okay, it's great, it's working, it wrote the data, Supabase, however, all fields should be required, so make sure that all questions are required and you can't move forward without answering. Also put more data validation on the phone number, make sure it can only be a US number. And lastly, the whole point, redirect to /book. So we'll let that go and see what happens. Okay, so it worked, did a bunch of other stuff. It worked for a minute and it cost another $1.17. Here's what I changed. All fields, now mandatory, uses from, okay, this is what I asked. Redirect to book afterwards. Okay, let's try it. Okay, so it redirected me automatically, by the way. So let's say, let's do what it says. Jane, I can't go. Doe, email, that won't allow that. It won't allow that. What would allow that? .org. So it allows that because that's the format is right. And anyway, what's your best phone number? Okay, well, let me do keys. Just and look, it just stopped. So that's good. So it's doing that. That's really cool. Okay. Now this was a little weird one, huh? So if I say other, it doesn't stop again. I got to try this again. Whatever. Joe TV. Okay, whatever. Doesn't matter. And we'll block. Let's just do one actually. What's your app ID? I don't have one yet, but it's going to be huge. Okay. A stickler for spelling, maybe. Do you have any experience? Okay, well, let me go ahead. No, I'm very new to it. Let's just do that. Next, and how much? Whatever. Call might be canceled. And submit. And boom, I went right to my book page, which is what I want. Okay, awesome. So now let's go and check the database and refresh. By the way, you have to, if you wait there, it refreshed automatically, but you can also click over here and refresh the data. So there you go. There's Jane Doe and all the data. The only thing I noticed is that it's not making the phone number required. While you're in Supabase, this is not a lesson on Supabase, but if you go div data and definition down here in the bottom, you can see the thing, and you'll notice that this says not null. Not null means it can't be empty, right? But phone just says null. So if I wanted to change that, I could ask it to give me a script to change it to so this says not null. I can't just type it in here. You have to actually do an update statement or something like that, or drop it and recreate. So anyway, going back to here, this is done, I think. And that's how you do it. Basically, I get this live. I want to turn this live on my I'm going to do a few more things probably on it, do a little bit more testing, but then I'm going to go ahead and get it live, because then I'm going to save $60 a month. I'm already paying $25 for Replit, which is worth it for the hosting and the other things that it does. But I'll probably bring this out into Visual Studio Code and do all kinds of stuff basically for free, because I already pay for that $100 a year, $10 a month, and I do all kinds of AI stuff in there. And then I bring it back in, so forth. If you want to see what I do there for that, is I go over to Git. I have a video on this, and so you can see from the last time I did stuff and published, then this is all what we did in this session. So I'm going to say, hey, sync changes. And I didn't do anything on this, so I can click sync changes, so it's up. I can also push it. It's the same thing. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that and push it up to my GitHub. You should always connect your Replit stuff to a GitHub account. That's a whole nother lesson. Check my videos on my YouTube about that. So anyway, there you go. That's how we do it. Okay, kind of a part 2 on this one. In part 1, we used Replit to replace my apply page to a new one, so I didn't have to use Typeform anymore and pay $60 a month for a link, right? So I went over to Git, and here I synced changes, which were pushed them back up to GitHub, and synced them, whatever. So they're all up there. So now I bring in, go to Visual Studio Code, and I go to the source control here, and then I can pull them down. I already did this pull, or you can go push, pull, sync. Okay, and it brings them all down. So you'll notice it says make all application fields required, and you'll notice that when I was in the other one, where is it? Here. Make all application fields required. So you can see that I've got all the changes that are in Replit. I've got them all in Visual Studio Code as well. And so anyway, so then once I have that in, I can just do an npm run dev like that. And sometimes that won't work if you need to do like an npm install and things like this. These are more technical details, I realize. You can ask me about later, or check out what I have on my mentorships. But so that basically just runs it locally at an address of localhost 5000, right? So if I go to another browser here, you can see I'm running localhost 5000, and there's my application, right? So if I go to the old one, let's see, apply, that's just apply, and that's Typeform, right? But if I go up here and just say new, that was what I called it, and I'm running my new one, right? And I can go in here and test it. It does all the stuff that we thought, whatever, at this, that, it doesn't matter, right? Phone number, whatever. Okay, does that work? No, it doesn't work. See, on Typeform, you can actually type A, B, C. I didn't ask it to do that, so I could always add that later. I could add that into GitHub. So I'm going to show you, what, how we can do it inside VS Code. So again, and then it redirects over to the book page and so forth. So that all works inside localhost. It works at working locally. And if I go over, refresh here, there it is right there. That's the one I just did. Okay, I did one before that. So anyway, then we go back to VS Code. I'm going to Control C here, so it's not running anymore. When that happens, when that's not running, then if I actually try to go to it, it's actually, if I try to go somewhere, it's actually going to fail because it's not running at localhost. But anyway, so that's fine. It's not actually running right now. So one of the things, if you remember, what I wanted to do was for it to send me an email. I told after a user submits it, I want it to send me an email, right? Well, I just heard about this resend thing called resend.com. It's free. You can send like 3,000 emails a month or 100 a day for free, right? And so I don't need that many, especially for development. And then there might be pricing for above that, but it's really quick and easy. I've used this once before in another project, and it's actually pretty easy. So you go to resend.com, create an account there, and then you'll want to first create an API key. Okay, and you'll create an API key. It'll give you this key. You save that. It kind of truncates it. You need to save this right away because it won't remember it. Like if you forget to copy it when it gets created, then you just have to create a new one, right? So it does that. And then you're going to want to go to domains because you have to hook it up to your domain so it can send. I don't know if you have to do this, but sometimes a lot of email filters and stuff will consider it spam if it's not coming from a legit domain. So if you want your emails to be delivered, it's recommended that you set up a domain. So to do that, I'm going to call my notify.realvibe.ai. Okay, I just put a notify in front of that. And the reason I do that is so it doesn't conflict with other DNS, because you're going to have to do DNS in here to make sure these get delivered. Region, well, pretty much the only one in the US is this one, right? And you just click add domain. And the next thing you do is DNS record. So I'm actually hosted at GoDaddy where my DNS is. And I don't know if it knows that, if it figured that out, or it's just assuming, but that's pretty cool. I don't use auto configure because it could go screw something else up that I'm not sure. It might be fine. It might be fine, but if your DNS is messed up, you know. So I usually go to manual setup, and then it'll just tell you, this is a little video. He's telling you how to set up DNS records, but that's a whole nother topic. You can watch that video, but basically I need to go into my DNS and set up these TXT records and MX records. So I'm going to do that. Okay, so I went into GoDaddy and I did this. I added these 2 TXT records and this MX record for notify dot and then my domain. So I'm going to go, and then I enabled sending, right? If you want to receive email, you can click this one on and then do that too. But let's see, I want to verify record. For some reason, it didn't let me go to verify. So I just went back out to domains here, clicked on it again, and then I say verify DNS. Let's see if sometimes it takes a while. It's checking the DNS, but I just did it minutes ago. So sometimes, you know, these things take a while to propagate. Could be 10 minutes, could be 30, could be hours. That's how DNS works. Let's pause it. So it's kind of doing its thing. Records validated here. That's just saying that all records have been validated here, but then it's still doing some internal verification, right? And then, no, there you go. You saw it real time. So it did this one, and then boom, all of a sudden these two just popped up. So now I'm completely verified. My DNS is okay, and it's all ready to go. So I've got my API key. I've got my domain. It's verified. So now I'm ready to send email through the app. So let me show you how to do that. Okay, so I already typed the prompt up here before I hit play here, but so we're ready to have this integrate. And what I said here is, you know, part of the apply new page, we're gathering questions, submitting them. After that, I want you to send, and then I really just pasted in my prompt from before. Sometimes it's nice to write your prompts in Notepad or somewhere else, and then you can copy and paste them or whatever. But this is part of my prompt from before, but it didn't really do it, or it kind of may have done it, but it was trying to use, it needed me to put in an SMTP server and all that. If you have one of those, great. If you want to use the free one, then, you know, I just showed you that with resend, right? So now I'm just telling it that I'm using resend to do this, find the documentation here. I give them a link to the documentation so it can crawl that and get it. And I'm just to make sure you use these keys in my environment. So use these keys. And that's just what I'm using. Obviously, that's not my full key. I truncated it here. I'll change it later. And then I'm using info@notify.real. So you have to make sure that this, you know, matches what you set up in the other one in the domain. If you just use your normal domain and you didn't put notify in front of it, that's fine. But you know, if you're going to get other email from other sources, like to say you have Microsoft 365 or something else, the MX records could kind of mess with those without special settings. So it's easier for me, I thought, just to do this, right? So, and I'm going to target, I'm going to have agent mode here, and I'm, you know, make sure I'm in agent mode, and I'm going to go ahead and target. I got Opus 4.6 now. Well, hey, let's use that. Opus 4.6, which is the latest and what probably Replit using too. So Copilot, I haven't talked too much about it, but GitHub Copilot is, you know, like $10 a month, $100 a year. And you can do a lot of stuff a lot cheaper than you can within Replit. So that's why I'm doing this outside. All right, let's get this to go. And we'll come back when it's done. So sometimes when you're doing it, it's going to ask you, depending on your settings, hey, is it okay if I go and search this? And so you can say, yeah, go ahead, always allow and skip reviewing result. So just let it do that. Also in Copilot, it gives us these little things. Hey, this is what it's going to do. It's going to review that. It's going through all of the different things that it's going to do for you. And you can watch it or go do other things. Okay, again, it's asking me stuff. There's ways to set this to be completely autonomous so it doesn't keep asking you. I just have that in because I want to make sure what it's doing when it's running commands. But I'm going to go ahead and let it do that. That's just installing. Again, about node, we talked about node package manager. It's installing the resend package for that to use it. So I'll just allow that. Here we are with another question. This is just verifying that it's going to try to verify the TypeScript that it compiles cleanly. So it's going to run this TypeScript compile command. We'll let that happen. So now it's given an error. And then it's saying, hey, this is an error that exists already. And it wants to double check some things. So it's pre-existing. So it's going to go and check that out. Okay, so fixed it or whatever. It's done. It replaced the node mailer SMTP, which is what Replit did with resend. That's what we wanted. Did all this stuff. It's going to add these keys to my environment.example, right? And I just have to put in my values there, and then we'll test it out. By the way, here in Copilot, this is what's changed. It updated some Replit document for email notifications, and it did a bunch of other stuff under email. This is just types. This is just showing you the changes, what happened. So this is probably, may not care to see that. I usually just say keep on everything, and I just keep everything. So close that out, and then it doesn't refresh automatically, but if I refresh here, it says this is everything that it changed. So it changed the email thing. You said, well, it was before. If you want to look at the code, which you may not want to. It updated the packages. So now we're using resend in here, and then the environment. And it's just showing that it added. So this is in .env file, .env.example. So there's another file called .env, which actually you put your real changes into. And, but this is just showing the example one, so you can make changes here. So this is the Superbase URL, and your anonymous key would go here, and this kind of stuff there. So, yeah, let me update that and I'll test it. Okay, let's test this. So I go again, npm, run dev. If there's any errors here, you just basically copy it, paste it in here, and say, I'm getting these errors. This is the back and forth that can cost, every time you do it, manage to cost you 50 cents to $1.50 every time you do that in Replit. Here, it's just like $10 a month, and you can just keep doing it up to reason. I mean, there's a $39 a month plan that gives you a real high level, but that would be the max that you would spend with GitHub Copilot. So it's running on localhost. While I go test that, I also going to check this stuff back in so I can put it back in Replit too. So I usually just use the AI. I click here, and it'll generate a message. I'm integrating resend for email notifications. And I'm going to commit and push that back up. I could do sync. It's the same difference, right? Sync is going to push and pull, but there's nothing to pull. That's the whole thing on GitHub. You can check out other videos all over YouTube about GitHub and what it's used for. But okay, let's go over and test this now. Here we go. That's resend. Let's go over here. Okay. Oh, it's coming back up. All right. By the way, in resend, you can see if I go to emails, there's no emails have been sent. So we're going to test this. Let's go to apply now. We're going to apply new. All right. And who do we want today? Let's call it Steve Smith, ss@gmail. I'm not sending him an email, so it doesn't really matter. It's just coming to me. Phone number. Okay, we don't care. And it's web and mobile app. Describe your app idea. Fine. Okay, this is my experience. Okay, that's how much I have to spend. I'm going to spend more than 10K and submit. Okay, so it redirected me there. So now we're going to go over. Let's do a couple of things. Let's check here to see if we have the new guy, which we should. There he is, Steve Smith. And then let's see if I got the email. I just got a notification on my phone that I got an email, so I know it came in. But if I go over here to resend and I go to emails, look, there it is. It's sent to Mike at Real Vibe. New application, Steve Smith. So I don't know if I can see the email. I guess I can. I don't even know what it looks like. I can click on it and, oh no, this is just for Steve Smith. Email. Hopefully it didn't try to send to that guy. Oh no, this is the data. Sorry. This is just the, let's see, plain text. Yeah, see. New membership, first name, Steve. So this is just sending me what the email looks like. And I can go take a look at it. Let me see what that looks like. Okay, there you go. I use Microsoft 365. So here's my Outlook. This is the email I got. So the subject is new application, Steve Smith. It came from info@notify.revolve.ai. It gave me the details in here, first name, last name, app types, web mobile, just, okay, perfect. All right. And then it gave me, I told it to attach, I think before I told it to attach a CSV. I think I said that thing. So let's take a look at that. Did I get us? And there it is. So there's a CSV file, Excel file, whatever, right? Comma separated value of the data. Boom. I think I just replaced Typeform and cannot pay $60 a month anymore because I just vibe coded my own using Replit and then using GitHub, Copilot with Visual Studio Code, which is free. This is free, runs on Windows, Mac, Linux, whatever, and does all that. So I did all that, and it took me, I would say, probably, let me go back here to the thing. So I would say that probably about 2.5 hours, 2 to 3 hours, but that's with trying to plan out, make this video, and do everything, right? So, that took a little bit longer. So anyway, that's not bad. So a couple hours of your time, and then you could do it all in Replit. You don't need to do the VS Code. Like I said, I'll have a whole other video on this thing, the same thing I just did, but I do it all the time because I want to save money, right? And do it here. So the other thing is, let me show you how we go full circle. I think I checked all that in, right? So now if I go back into Replit, okay, I'm back here in Replit. So Replit doesn't know that I did all that inside GitHub, right? So, and by the way, I keep saying GitHub, it's github.com. Okay, so like that. And this is kind of a work one, but you get the picture. So I could sync, but there's really nothing to push, but I know that I need to pull them down from GitHub. So I'm going to pull it down and you'll see it has all my changes. See, before that was published. Whenever you publish it, it goes here. So you can see that I got, integrated resend, right? All there. So now I could rerun this in here and it would have all those changes. Now, before I actually publish it, remember the state that I left it in right now is it's got my /apply and I go to apply new. So if I go to apply now, it still goes to the old one with Typeform. So I need to now tell it, basically I'm going to tell it to rename the other, basically get rid of the old one and put this one in there. So I don't need to show you that, but I'm just going to tell it to do that. And that's it. All right. Hope that helped. Okay. I hope you stayed till the end because I thought of one more thing. So I'm making a little add to this video here. So if you are hosting this in Replit, which you probably are, then you need to take those secrets. If you remember in the environment example here. So I have like the Superbase URL, key, port, node is development. Now, this says development, right? This is a sample. The actual one in Replit, this says production. So, but don't worry about that. So I have my admin password where it would have different. So if you notice that, I need to put these, okay, I need to put the real ones over into Replit. And how you do that is back over in Replit. By the way, if this chat bothers you, you can always hit new like this and kind of get rid of it. Or maybe I'm going to reduce it down a little bit. So anyway, over here across the top, you have Git, Publishing, Console. These are things I use. When we go to publish to production, we'll be getting published and say republish. You can always do it up here too. But you want to go open up a new one that says secrets right here, okay? And so you can see I've got all these other ones that are already there. I put my Superbase. That's when you hook up databases, node environment. We already know that says production. I can click show over here. And you can see that says production. So I want to add a secret, right? So I hit new secret. And then I will put in my secret. So resend API key. I'm just going to copy that. That's my API key. And I'm going to put that in there, but I'm going to pause the video till it's done because I want to give you my keys. Now, this one doesn't really matter because she already showed us on the video. So I paste resend from email. That's my key. And then here's the value. And I said add secret. And then you just got to keep doing that. Do another secret and notification email. So yeah, it puts like a placeholder there. Google, you just paste over the top of that, right? And I think I had this go into Mike. Okay. So, and I'm going to add that secret. So then there's my my secrets are in there now. Resend, and notification. So now when I do publish this in Replit, when I go to publish and actually publish it, then those will work.